The Lord, brothers and sisters. Today is the feast of Saint Thomas the Apostle, and so we'll be reflecting on the today's gospel passage. That is John chapter 20, verses 24 to 29. This passage starts with the first verse 24, which says, "But Thomas, who was called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came." So this means that for some reason Thomas was away during the first time that Jesus appeared to his disciples. He was not in the gathering. He was away from the community of disciples. And that's why many people call him the doubting Thomas, because he didn't believe when the disciples said that we have seen the Lord. And this journey from doubting to the journey of having faith, it is what Thomas's story is all about. And we will be reflecting on John chapter 20, verse 29, which says, Jesus said to him, he said to Thomas, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen, yet have come to believe." And this is the key verse that we'll be reflecting on. Many of us want to see, want to touch, want to feel, and then only we'll believe. And that's what was Thomas's story. It was not a doubt, actually, he wanted to clarify that Jesus had really risen. And so, according to Neil Fleming's work theory, VARK, we all want to see something. We are visual learners. V for visual learners, A for auditory learners. We want to hear, and R for those who readers, and K is for kinesthetic, something with touch. Without touch, they will not learn. Without experience, will not learn. And these are the four things normally, four types of learners. And Thomas was having these qualities of the same, being a learner who wanted to see and wanted to touch. However, in this, he says, unless I see and I feel, I won't believe. And that is, if Thomas had this doubt, it was clarified by Jesus the second time he appeared. And here we see that Jesus added another beatitude in John chapter 20, verse 29. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe. We have 8 beatitudes, but this is the 9th one that Jesus mentioned after his resurrection. And in this, everything will encounter the first stage of a disciple or a Christian. We can see that Thomas encountered Jesus, and Jesus came and stood among them. That's the verse. It says, "Peace be with you." John chapter 20, verse 26 says, "Peace be with you." And this is what Thomas encountered Jesus. And when he received the peace of Jesus, Thomas encountered Jesus' real presence. Earlier he had seen him in the flesh. Now his eyes were opened so that he could see him, his resurrected body. And it's similar to the Emmaus encounter, where those disciples were questioning, and Jesus was answering them, and also after that he was vanished from that place because they recognized him in the breaking of the bread. And similarly, Thomas also had an experience. So everyone has an encounter, especially we all go to retreats. We have this JEHR, Jesus Encounter Healing Retreat, where we experience Jesus. And this is, the journey doesn't stop over there. We want to know more and more, because that encounter should lead you to the second stage, where you will be among disciples. And this is what happened to Thomas. He was among the disciples, but the encouragement, the second stage, encouragement, this comes from Jesus himself. What did Jesus say? Do not doubt, but believe. John chapter 20, verse 27. Do not doubt, but believe. These are the words of encouragement from Jesus, and they are for all the disciples also. So many times we also encounter Jesus, but we need encouragement in our journey. And that's what happened to Paul, who was also not accepted by the disciples. And he was brought forth by Barnabas. And that was the encouragement, the second stage. The third stage is where Thomas encountered Jesus completely by recognizing his divine nature. And it says, "My Lord and my God." John chapter 20, verse 28. And his faith developed gradually. It started with encounter, it needed some encouragement, and now There's the third stage, there's evolvement or evolving. He was evolving into another person, and especially his faith was evolving because this is what he encountered, Jesus. And if you see verse John chapter 20 verse 26 says that doors were shut. It is actually the spiritual doors of his mind were shut. Many times our minds are also shut. We are unable to understand. We see in the physical, but there is something in the spiritual that is happening, and that is what we need to open the eyes to the spiritual. The spiritual eyes have to be opened, and that's what we continue to evolve and have the faith experience when we celebrate the Eucharist. If you see many times, many people say, "My Lord and my God," when the host is raised, and we encounter the community, encounter Jesus in the community, and we evolve. Our faith evolves in the community, and that's what is our experience. Also, our eyes are opened when we are part of the Holy Eucharist, and this is the third stage of a disciple or a Christian who starts from an encounter, goes to encouragement, and is evolved. And the last stage, where a person is now done all these three stages, and in this verse, John chapter 20, verse 29, it says, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe." Now, was told to all in the room. However, Thomas took it to his heart. He says, "This is for me." And what he said, "This is my mission." He made it his personal mission to not to open the eyes, spiritual eyes of others. And that is what Saint Thomas, we celebrate this feast of Saint Thomas. He came all the way to India specifically for spreading the faith, to open the eyes, the spiritual eyes. Jesus opened his eyes. He came to give sight to the blind, the spiritually blind. And this is the reason he came to India, and we are Christians now. If we have encountered Jesus Christ, then we should also do what Saint Thomas the Apostle did. So praise the Lord, brothers and sisters. I believe that this has helped you to understand the four stages. The first starts with the encounter, the second is encouragement, then evolving, and the third stage, evangelization, where we go and spread the good news. Thank you, praise the Lord, and happy feast to all of you.